Yeah, I mean, when you look at innovation for play callers and guys that have been a part of systems, what you want to do is look at the tape. So what family did they come from, and where, what style does that particular group play, and show, and the innovations they have with their plays. And that group, to me, is has done that throughout. And that's what brought me the interest in Luke, throughout the whole process. And again, I've been in the league, almost 15 years now. So those guys you look at and say, man, they're hard to defend. They're very innovative in their first 15, and they're great coming out of halftime. They're really good in situations, and that's what attracted me to Luke. Yeah, so and all the staff members and the coaches in particular, they're always everybody's going to be a leader at some point, and everybody needs to follow at some point. And we certainly wanted to look at those attributes, and one of those is being a teacher. And being a teacher in our system, doesn't matter offense and defense or kicking, that's the first quality we look for. Because if you can't, take your message from the board, and put it onto the players and then take it to the field, that's what we want to have with each guy. And that's what Luke brings to the table, because and I've had lengthy conversations with him about his style of teaching and how he goes about his business there, and it's been outstanding.
Obviously, you're not worried about offense. How do you approach that new part of the job? Learning some things from them.
Yeah, I think you're open. You'd be open to learning the system that they're putting in terms of that part of it. Hey, what do we call outside zone? What do we call the duo play? What do we call certain plays? This waggle, this boot play, and then more importantly, you have your hands on the style. Okay, and how we do it. What we're doing is going to be very important in the sequence of how we call plays. That's always important on offense or defense. But what's more important is how. And then how do you implement that during the course of the season? Starting in our first phase 1, phase 2, the voluntary mini camp, going all the way through the summer into training camp. How do you implement that and keep your critical eye on that detail of how? And to me, that's really because I've been in the offensive room and I've been in the defensive room these last 3 weeks, and I've also been in the special teams room. And I'm a big guy that likes to go around during the course of the day when they're done meeting in the mornings, because that's what we put our time on the systems in the morning. And I'll go around to all the coaches and ask them, hey, how'd it go? Tell me what you guys are doing. And then I get questions that way and get feedback that way from the O-line coach or the D-line coach or secondary guys, or if it's Tyke or whoever it might be. And I get a lot out of that with those guys, and we have great conversations. So that's where we are right now. Yeah, I think it's like any other position. When you're evaluating defending guys or looking at guys to do something for you on your particular unit, you just look at it that way. And I think it's working with Ryan. What we've done over the last couple of weeks is we've built profile tapes for each position. And what we did was offense, defense, and kicking. We built those tapes, and then we went in with Ryan and the scouting staff, and we sat there for hours and talked about each position. So everybody's on the same page in terms of what we're looking for each position. We did the same thing with free agency. We're doing the same thing with the draft. It's constantly working together to make sure we're on the same page.
What do you know about the roster players that you have now?
Yeah, I'm just getting to know them personally, really. So I've texted most of the guys that are, under contract, and I've talked to guys just about personal things. Hey, how you doing? How's the family? How you enjoying your time? And really that's it. And just getting to know the guys and building relationships. So that to me is the most important thing. Once they come in April, for the voluntary part of it and start doing football, we'll get a chance to look at them. Have we looked at them? Certainly we've looked at them for what they did last year and the previous years and all those things. But, a lot of the guys, this is a clean slate for them. And we're starting new. And I told a lot of guys, hey, you're walking on fresh grass here. This is a new staff. new systems. You have to learn it. You got to dive into it, and you got to put everything you have into it, because our systems are not hard to understand, but they're hard to implement in terms of the player, because the way we ask them to play in terms of the physical style, the effort, okay, the mental intensity, okay, those things right there are going to be different to those players, and when they come in, they'll have to understand that, and they will understand it pretty quick, and it's going to be a little bit different for them, but refreshing.
When you're talking to prospects in interviews, how do you try to learn if they would be the type of player that could fit what you're looking for in that role? How do these conversations usually?
Yeah, you look at the tape. So as a coach, your resume is the tape. That's just the way it is. You want to know how I coach football? Look at the tape. You know, you want to know how a guy plays football? You look at the tape. You know, because a lot of guys can say certain things, which is great. Words are important, but action's more important. So I think that you just look at the tape and do they fit? You do that with the draft. You do it with free agency. You do it with anytime you're trying to acquire a player. Does he have two things? Does he love football? Okay, and is he willing to work really hard? And to me, if those two things are check both those boxes, he gets his foot in the door. And that to me is what the evaluation process starts with.
You evaluated the defense that you already ID'd some guys. You're like, this guy plays.
Oh yeah, we've got those guys. Yeah, I mean, I don't want to, talk about certain players right now, but yeah, we have pieces in there, for sure, that fit that mode of loving football and playing really hard. So there's definitely pieces there.
Talk to me about Ryan so far this month, working with him, and how he's worked to try to put his stamp on the roster.
Yeah, just what I knew before. I mean, what kind of guy he is, rock solid as a person, as a human being, very organized, has that scouting staff, working tirelessly to work on the free agency first and then working on the combine. They've been in that room, basically 24/7 since we've got hired, and working with the coaches in the afternoon. So we really don't want to have lines in terms of scouting and then coaching. We want to just kind of blend them together to make sure we're all working, on the same team to get the greatest product on the field. So he's been great to work with so far.
You decided what a rope on
We haven't decided it yet. Yeah, that's still a little bit too early in the process. We know he's going to play inside backer. I can give you that. So.
Matt, when you're looking at the player acquisition period, free agency, and after kind of building profiles, three techniques, what are some of the things you look for in a player?
Yeah, so three technique, you guys have known, the great names of the business is disruptive. You got to be disruptive. You got to be able to do a couple things as a three technique. Number one, you got to win your one-on-one matchup, okay? And when they run zone away from you, you got to be able to stay in the B gap, if I can say it that simple. So those are the two things we look for, and they come in all shapes and sizes, and you've seen it. But explosive athletic ability is the number one trait. I think it's the day in and day out process of it. So when you're coaching it, every snap, okay, an individual, to start in our first phase, we get them on the field. As soon as we can put a ball out there, we're going to start talking about it and coaching it every single play, and we don't let that go. And so that's what I mean about fanaticism. You can say that, or just doing one action at a time, and talking about, hey, you missed a strip attempt. Oh, that was a great strip attempt. Scoop and score, that was great. You guys went for 10 yards like we asked you to, and that's just what you do. You just pay attention to it. And I'm guilty of it too. I'll go by 3 or 4 plays and say, oh, let's go back. Oh, we missed 3 strip attempts, so you just got to stay on it. Yeah, I think it's dual education. So when we're sitting there in the quarterback room, when they get back in the building, I'm going to be able to impart some knowledge there in terms of what they're trying to do defensively. Not only what the scheme looks like, but actually what the techniques are and how you're going to take advantage of those techniques, being receiver option routes or what the reads are for Justin and working closely with Luke, and Janoko on those things, and we'll all be on the same page. But yeah, it's a dual education.
When you got to Indianapolis, you had to assemble a defensive staff. What did you do to assemble a staff as an offense?
Yeah, so this goes back when I first got interviewed in 2018 with the Cleveland Browns. I got interviewed there, and everybody has their staff list, and I think that's an important thing. But the reality of it is that it's hard to get everybody on that list because guys are under contract, guys get promoted where they were. I mean, there's a lot of things moving, a lot of balls in the air. So I really leaned on the coordinators this time, and to Luke and to Alan, and to HT. I leaned on those guys to say, hey, who do you like? Who fits with your system? Okay, and then let's talk about the list that way. Let's start our list that way, and then I'll interview them on the phone, and we'll get them in here and either Zoom or bring them into Chicago, and we'll talk to them. If they fit with our system and our style, then we'll move them on to the next stage, and then that's what we did. We ended up hiring a really good staff. No, that was not a surprise. Chris and Frank were upfront and honest the whole time, and very, very good about us being able to do that. So I really appreciate those guys for letting me do that. What's that? Yeah, I think with both offensive and defense, because we have the guys that are in the system, in those systems, in that style, it's going to get the coaches closer together faster, and that in turn you'll see the players get together faster because there won't be 4 or 5 days talking about terminology. We call this route this one thing, we call that this blitz. They're going to be there's synergy there already because they're from the same systems, and you'll see that on the field too with the players. Yeah, I think in football, everybody has all the protections. You got center going this way, back going the other way, slide this way. Everybody has those protections. I think more importantly, it would be ball out. Getting the ball out of your hands fast and making quick decisions, I think is what's going to be the important thing for us to do offensively. And that when you take shots and you max them up and you protect. You have to do that during the course of a game, but certainly getting the ball out's going to be critical. Yeah, I mean, I've gotten some advice from several of my mentors about it, and I just think be yourself. I don't think there's any one particular thing that you want to say or do. I just think be yourself and be genuine. And I think building a relationship is always that. And when you can look somebody in the eye and tell them the truth, and they can be on the same page and be vulnerable sometimes. Say, hey, I made a mistake. I didn't do that right. And then say that to them. And I think that's how you build trust and how you build a relationship. Yep. A quarterback? Corner, okay, I'm sorry. Big difference, yeah. Yeah, so the guy, for us, it's a couple things. You have to have quickness. You have to have instincts. When I say instincts, that means that ball instincts. So you want to be able to, yes, react to plays and all that, but we want guys that are ball hawks at the corner position. And the reason I said quickness first is because to get the ball, you have to be quick out of transition. At the top of your routes, you're going to have to do a great job of transitioning to either bust the triangle up or take the ball away. So those two things. Then really the last thing for us would be speed. You have to have speed at that position because you have to have make-up speed. You're going to be out of position sometimes. The receivers are some of the best guys on the field. So really I would say those three things. The corner position, yeah. We evaluated the whole roster, and we have certain positions where we're, looking at a little bit closer than others, and we just got to go through that process right now. Frank's been great, and I think more importantly, Frank is in the process of being a head football coach has really helped me to be able to look at both sides of the ball, and what he did with us when he was the head football coach as an offensive coach to the defense when I was the defensive coordinator was outstanding, and it really was. He was supportive. He would give ideas. Him and I would sit and visit, and he was just outstanding that way. He was a great example for me for what I could be to not only Luke but also to Alan and also to HT. Just a great example that way, and I learned a lot from Frank.
Matt, how is it good before we have to restock at receiver? When you get to opening day, what do you want collectively out of that receiver? What do you want?
Yeah, you want explosive athletic ability there that can produce chunk plays. That's what you want. So if you throw a screen, you want a guy that can take it and go for 15 or all the way. So because the controlled passing game is just that, but the athletes are the guys that make you miss. And that to me is so you gotta have guys that are quick, explosive, strong. They have to be strong at the point of attack to be able to block because we're gonna we're put a big onus on the running game. They have to be able to do that. And then you have to have different traits at different positions. One guy might be quick. He's really a short route runner. Another guy could do it all. That would be our number one receiver, should be able to do that. And then the other guy should be able to take the top off the defense because that puts stress on the defense. And then you couple that with a tight end that has the ability to flex out and create mismatches. I think all those things with a great running back that's great out of the backfield, then you can't lean your defense a certain way. And I think you create a lot of stress vertically and horizontally when you have all those different traits, not only at the receiver position, tight end position, at the halfback position as well. Yeah, it's been 30 years coming, so I feel pretty good about it. I do, yeah. I've seen a lot of good friends here that have congratulated me and my family, and it's been great to see them. And I've had a lot of good conversations with them. But yeah, it feels really good. Well, my daughter has to finish up school, but we'll see how that goes. And I got one that's graduating in May out in college out in California. So yeah, they're excited about the move, and we're getting things squared away. I did a couple nights. Yeah, I did a couple nights. But your heart. What does it say about your the heart is where your home is, or something like that, or vice versa? But yeah, my girls have been great. I love them to death. So.